Okay, let's see. She's a multi-talented musician that makes weird but cool shit in her little Brooklyn studio. The end. See you next time, guys. Now, for real, we're talking about Xena Glas, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you that she's not one of many, she is unique. There's a key topic in this. Autism definitions are countless, but in our musical approach, we will dive into it as a sensorial experience, rather than the medical point of view. Check out the link on the description below and experience another way to see the world. With that glimpse, we can see the mastery of putting all together. Xena is an architect, but her complex plans are resumed in a beautiful piece of art. Why is that? Because assembling this, instrument playing like guitar and piano, recording and processing of samples, conversation, street noises, animals, water, you name it, glitches and electronic production elements.
Just let me go, just let me go, just let me go. Just let me go, just let me go. Let me have my body, let me have my body.
A philosophical background in which Glass addresses things like the conflict between sensuality and anxiety, translating that into poetry writing and putting all together, with very good taste, into the desired vocals. Even a chorale at 4-voice part, to finally give us a very personal way to experience both beauty and the complexity of being a human in modern times. And don't even talk about the music video produced by herself, the editorial work, also the painting, all by just one person, Xena Glas. So here it comes, her debut EP, Body. This is derived from Xena's lived experience with autism. The 5 tracks of Body are named after specific sites where the effects of autism are noticeable, filling the world around us. I like to call it an Ouroboros, a cycle where the album begins and ends with a whisper. The main idea of Feed is to expose a mantra for staying focused in life's most challenging phases. Glass sets a tone of delicate textures flowing through her vocals, which is this mantra. In the background you can hear samples of wind and running water. In the notes of her EP says this song, as well as the track Hand, represents the steaming situations of sensory overload, counting, tapping fingers and pacing. When we feel overwhelmed, it might help to focus on something to empty ourselves, when we are supposed to have no choice but to face the challenging situation.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 4.
It happens also with the track Hand, when we hear water drops, with a momentary snippet of a younger child counting to, that resembles her past. And then, here is a magnificent 4-voice chorale, which makes me think kind of the Crosby, Steele and Nash song, Last Wail. Mouth, the B major song, is one of the complex, rarest yet beautiful tracks on her Body album. It starts with a rhythmic pedal note on the guitar, arpeggiated piano and almost imperceptible synth strings in the background. Literally a conversation. The sounds we hear when the notes collide with each other are called dissonances. And you have to have mastery to handle them. She makes it nice and sounds angelical. In the track body appears a jazzy piano and kind of a lo-fi beat that blends in her poetry and develops this sensation of shrouded in dizzy cross rhythms.
Long limbs and falling skin, fragile body that I'm in. Your eyes trace my skin.
Give me back my body, she claims, and just let me go. Glass sings reclaiming ownership of a body subject to the objectifications and victimizations of society. Check out the silence that falls upon this request at the end of the track is swift and creates a sensation of void.
Give me back my body. Just let me go. Just let me have my body.
The track I. The glitches on this song, as well the guitar, piano, recorded samples of conversations and sounds of birds, portrays in a very personal way references to the excess of ideas and emotions taken through the eye contact, and the intensity of experiencing it through the day. This is very related to autism. In overall great skills of harmony composition, singing technique, guitar, piano, loops, choruses that make this 5-song EP a new experience each time you come back to it. So much is going on and you spot new things in every listen. It's like a good sensorial audio story, the life told by an artist. Very personal and why not, so freaking trippy. I need to add another achievement made by Xena Glas. And it's a reminder to all the artists that you don't need expensive gear to create art. She said that this album was initially made in her old crap top. Boom! Andandand. Before we talk about this single, we need to understand ASMR and the effect that this has. According to Swansea University in UK, the brain releases chemicals like endorphins and oxytocin and makes us feel relaxation and a feel-good sensation. This track gives you chills down to your bones, and here's why. It starts with the raw sound of the artist's environment, moving, breathing, singing, and whispering. This puts you in a ready-to-sleep state. To relax, and I can say very ASMR-ish. The acoustic guitar appears, but in the background, a very soft drone, seems like white noise, continues the whisper effect. Still, these three elements, whisper, guitar, and drones, are mixed up through the whole piece.
Why am I open your thoughts and feelings and let it all pour out into the silence and tell me you're okay, can you feel your body?
So you can explore the concept of a dream when she says 3 times, "Why am I awake?" But also on experiencing life, being conscious, feeling pain, and needing to heal. We got sharp poetry right here.
Love me, love
In Xena words, Andandand is about insomnia and finally falling asleep and being comfortable in your own dream space. Her style. It's difficult to classify Xena since few artists build a philosophical background when they are creating. She draws her inspiration from deep topics such as mental health, autism, sexuality, and human rights. Much is said that people hear similarities with folk, indie, or experimental. But let's put this on the table. What is a music genre? Listen to artists that strictly sticks to their formula. It's not bad, that's coherent. An album sounds in the style. If you say folk, you think about acoustic instruments, singing, and influences of a region. Indie music is produced independently from commercial record labels. The do-it-yourself approach on recording and publishing. You name it, indie, rock, pop, hip-hop, and so on. Call it and feel it in your way, folk, indie, or experimental, as long as her music gets you. But what if she's not either folk, indie, or experimental? Let's take a look at her Bandcamp profile. It says experimenting on music. Her style is not in one category. She's more on the philosophical foundation rather than a musical alignment. In fact, she's inspired by different artists, not by their genre but by their composition. She can shift easily, expanding her production tools, influences, or maybe in future collaborations with labeled artists. That's revolutionary and beautiful, and maybe something that we can learn about. Making a quotation here about Imanu, he also feels there's no need to strictly stick to a formula to create his own way. Will be amazing to experience Xena's live performances, which has quite an interesting proposal. Once she offered limited edition vinyls of her live gigs. She also told us that we can typically find her performing in random bars in Brooklyn. She usually posts dates on Instagram and Twitter. Here are some of the upcoming dates. And about the new EP Movement, which will be released on October 28, she tells us, "It's about my move to New York City. I'm originally from Texas and it was a really stressful move, and I think it really tested my sanity. Took me about a year to fully acclimate. Once I did, I found a lot of comfort in certain things in the city that I initially found stressful. I've been looking for this EP since January 2022. The original image is a photo of Nostrand Avenue at the Bed-Stuy stop. Can I ask how many artists produce, compose, and also make their own art and video production? Certainly, you need a whole team, but her results are amazing. Comes to my mind Bjork, even Richard David James or Arca, in terms of a whole package, self-produced art. But are so few on the music field, most artists can hit few tasks at a time. But then, Xena Glas is solid, her art concept, poetry, orchestration technique, singing even 4-part choruses, instrument playing, also in terms of branding with her black and white hallmarks. Her music talks for itself. She's a living haiku. If you're looking for an artist that brings you one-of-a-kind experience every time you're listening music, you're looking for Xena Glas, you won't be disappointed. For example, in her album Body, she is the conductor of orchestra, and the musicians are real life itself, filled with bird songs, footsteps, conversations in public spaces, piano, strings, synthesizers, etc. She has a lot of potential and can create more that one can by standing alone. Support. Bandcamp is the only place where you can support her. She's also a genuine writer, which is a talent that we didn't discuss in depth right now, but that will be in a future chapter. Follow her on social media. We are 100% sure that it's inevitable that she can reach multitudes soon. You can also check the references and links to her art and videos in the description below. This was not a conventional trip. I'm glad to be back to you guys. I appreciate the comments, they made my day and helped me a lot to improve. Also, if you're an emerging producer and want to share your jewels with people, you can send me an email. And also for the curious that want to know more about an artist, Or maybe you want to suggest something pretty interesting, we're going to dig in it. I'm doing some DJ stuff. If you are into drum and bass, garage house, synth music, breakbeat, etc. Check out my social media if you want to find some hidden jewels. Please let me know your...
I'm gonna step off the limb now.